7 Habits to Cultivate Peace of Mind. In the vast, intricate tapestry of human existence, peace of mind often seems like a distant star, shimmering yet unreachable. We navigate through life's complexity, grappling with emotions that sometimes threaten to consume us whole. The anger that surges when we are wronged, fear that paralyzes us in the face of uncertainty, the sorrow that lingers when we lose what we hold dear. But within the teachings of Stoicism lies the key to mastering these emotions, to finding a profound, enduring tranquility amidst the chaos. This tranquility, this peace of mind, is not a gift bestowed upon us by the external world. It is something we must cultivate within ourselves, through disciplined practice and unwavering resolve. The Stoics, ancient philosophers who sought to live in harmony with nature and reason, believed that true peace comes not from the absence of challenges, from our ability to face them with wisdom and virtue. Today, we delve into 7 habits inspired by Stoic philosophy. Habits that, when practiced consistently, can lead us to a place of inner calm, where we are no longer at the mercy of our emotions, but in control of them. 1. Embrace the impermanence of life. The first step towards cultivating peace of mind is to embrace the impermanence of life. As the Roman philosopher Seneca observed, all things human are short-lived and perishable. This is not a statement meant to evoke despair, but rather a call to recognize the fleeting nature of all things. We are surrounded by impermanence. Our relationships, our possessions, our very bodies are all subject to the inexorable passage of time. Yet it is this impermanence that gives life its beauty and urgency. When we fully accept that nothing lasts forever, we free ourselves from the chains of attachment and fear. We stop clinging to things that are destined to fade away, and instead, we learn to appreciate them in the present moment. This practice, known as contemplation of impermanence, is a cornerstone of Stoic thought. It teaches us to live with an awareness that every moment is precious, and that our peace of mind should not be dependent on the external world, but rather on our internal state. Consider this. Every day, we face countless opportunities to practice this habit. When we find ourselves attached to a particular outcome, whether it's the success of a project, the approval of others, or the preservation of a cherished possession, we can pause and remind ourselves of its impermanent nature. We can say to ourselves, "This too shall pass." And in doing so, we release our grip on it. By consistently practicing this habit, we begin to cultivate a sense of detachment that allows us to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and equanimity. 2. Practice voluntary discomfort. The Stoics believe that true peace of mind comes from cultivating resilience, and one of the most effective ways to build resilience is through the practice of voluntary discomfort. Seneca, prominent Stoic philosopher, advised, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" By deliberately exposing ourselves to discomfort, we train our minds and bodies to endure hardship. This practice, known as preparation for adversity, helps us to overcome the fear of discomfort and loss. When we voluntarily experience discomfort, we discover that it is not as unbearable as we might have imagined. We learn that we are stronger and more capable than we give ourselves credit for. There are many ways to incorporate this habit into our lives. We can choose to fast for a day, go without our usual comforts, or push ourselves physically beyond our normal limits. The key is not to seek out suffering for its own sake, but to remind ourselves that we can endure more than we think. By doing so, we cultivate a sense of self-reliance and inner strength that allows us to face life's inevitable challenges, confidence and calm. This habit also serves as a powerful antidote to the modern obsession with comfort and luxury. In a world where we are constantly bombarded with messages that tell us we need more possessions, more pleasure, more convenience, voluntary discomfort helps us to break free from the cycle of desire and consumption. It teaches us that true contentment comes not from external sources, from within. When we learn to be content with little, we discover that we already have enough, and our peace of mind is no longer dependent on the accumulation of material wealth. 3. Cultivate the discipline of assent. One of the most powerful teachings of Stoicism is the concept of the discipline of assent. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher and former slave, taught that men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. In other words, it is not the events themselves that cause us distress, but rather our judgments about those events. The discipline of assent involves carefully examining our thoughts and only allowing those that are rational and aligned with our values to take root in our minds. This habit requires us to become vigilant observers of our own thoughts. When we encounter a situation that triggers an emotional response, we must pause and ask ourselves, is this thought rational? Is it based on reality, or is it a distorted perception? By challenging our initial reactions and choosing to respond with reason rather than emotion, we regain control over our inner world. For example, imagine that you receive criticism from a colleague. Your immediate reaction might be one of anger or defensiveness. However, if you practice the discipline of assent, you would pause and reflect. Is this criticism valid? What can I learn from it? How can I respond in a way that is constructive and aligned with my values? By doing so, you transform what could have been a source of distress into an opportunity for growth. This habit also helps us to navigate the inevitable challenges and setbacks that life throws our way. When we encounter obstacles, instead of reacting with frustration or despair, we can choose to view them as opportunities to practice resilience and patience. By cultivating the discipline of assent, we learn to see the world through the lens of reason and virtue, rather than through the distortions of fear and desire. 4. Memento mori, remember death. Memento mori, or remember that you will die, is one of the most profound teachings of Stoicism. It is a reminder that our time on this earth is limited and that we must use it wisely. As Seneca wrote, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day." The habit of meditating on death is not meant to be morbid or depressing. Rather, it is a powerful tool for gaining perspective on what truly matters. When we remember that our lives are finite, we are less likely to waste time on trivial pursuits or to be consumed by petty concerns. Instead, we are motivated to focus on what is truly important: our relationships, our values, and our personal growth. There are many ways to incorporate this habit into our daily lives. We can set aside time each day to reflect on our mortality. Consider how we would live if we knew that today was our last day. We can also use reminders such as wearing a memento mori ring or keeping a memento mori coin. Keep this awareness close at hand. By embracing the reality of our mortality, we free ourselves from the fear of death. We learn to live each day with intention and purpose, knowing that our time is precious. This habit also helps us to cultivate gratitude, as we come to appreciate the gift of life and the opportunities each day presents. When we live with the awareness that our time is limited, we are more likely to make choices that align with our deepest values, and our peace of mind is strengthened. 5. Cultivate inner detachment. The Stoics taught that the key to peace of mind lies in cultivating inner detachment, a state of mind where we are no longer swayed by the ups and downs of life. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Inner detachment does not mean indifference or apathy. Rather, it is a focused commitment to maintain our peace and virtue regardless of external circumstances. It is the practice of recognizing that we cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. This habit requires us to develop a deep sense of self-awareness and to take responsibility for our own thoughts and actions. One way to cultivate inner detachment is through the practice of mindfulness. By bringing our attention to the present moment, we can observe our thoughts and emotions without becoming attached to them. We can notice when we are being pulled into negative patterns of thinking and gently bring ourselves back to a place of calm and centeredness. Another way to practice inner detachment is through the use of cognitive distancing techniques. When we encounter a situation that triggers an emotional response, we can ask ourselves, is this within my control? How much power am I giving to this situation? By reminding ourselves that we are not defined by our circumstances, we can begin to let go of the need to control everything around us. This habit also involves letting go of the need for approval or validation from others. The Stoics believed that true peace of mind comes from living in accordance with our own values, rather than seeking the approval of others. When we cultivate inner detachment, we free ourselves from the need to please others, and instead, focus on living authentically and with integrity. 6. Daily reflection and journaling. At the heart of Stoic practice is the habit of daily reflection and journaling. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled the Roman Empire while also practicing Stoicism, made it a habit to write down his thoughts and reflections each day. This practice, known as evening reflection, allowed him to review his actions, assess his progress, and reaffirm his commitment to Stoic principle. Daily reflection is a powerful tool for personal growth and self-mastery. By taking the time to reflect on our day, we can identify areas where we strayed from our values, where we allowed emotions to dictate our actions, and where we missed opportunities to practice virtue. This process of self-examination helps us to learn from our mistakes and to make better choices in the future. Journaling is also an effective way to clarify our thoughts and gain insight into our own mind. When we put our thoughts into words, we are forced to organize and articulate them, which can lead to new insights and perspectives. Journaling also serves as a record of our journey, allowing us to look back and see how far we have come. To incorporate this habit into your life, set aside time each evening to reflect on your day. Ask yourself questions such as, where did I act in accordance with my values? Where did I fall short? What can I do differently tomorrow? Write down your reflections in a journal, and use this time to reaffirm your commitment to Stoic principle. This habit also helps us to cultivate a sense of humility. By acknowledging our mistakes and shortcomings, we remind ourselves that we are not perfect and that personal growth is a lifelong journey. Daily reflection and journaling keep us grounded and focused on our inner development, helping us to cultivate a deeper sense of peace and purpose. 7. Practice compassionate stoicism. While stoicism is often associated with self-discipline and emotional control, it also emphasizes the importance of compassion, both towards others and towards ourselves. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "The fruit of this life is a good character and acts for the common good." Compassionate stoicism is the practice of using our self-mastery, not just for our own benefit, for the benefit of others. It is the recognition that we are all part of a larger community and that our actions have an impact on those around us. When we practice compassionate stoicism, we strive to act with kindness, empathy, and understanding, even in the face of adversity. This habit involves cultivating a deep sense of connection with others, recognizing that we all share a common humanity. It requires us to look beyond our own needs and desires and to consider how our actions affect those around us. Compassionate stoicism also involves practicing forgiveness, both towards others and towards ourselves. By letting go of grudges and resentments, we free ourselves from the burden of anger and bitterness, allowing us to live with greater peace and harmony. One way to practice compassionate stoicism is by engaging in acts of kindness and service. Whether it's helping a neighbor, volunteering for a cause, or simply offering a kind word to someone in need. These small acts of compassion can have a profound impact on our own well-being and the well-being of others. Compassionate stoicism also requires us to practice self-compassion. The Stoics recognize that we are all imperfect beings and that we will inevitably make mistakes. Instead of being harsh or judgmental towards ourselves, we can choose to treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer to a friend. By practicing self-compassion, we cultivate a sense of inner peace and acceptance, which in turn strengthens our ability to be compassionate towards others. By deepening our understanding and practice of these 7 habits, we begin to weave a life of purpose, resilience, and profound peace. These habits, while rooted in ancient wisdom, are timeless in their relevance. They guide us through the storms of life, offering a beacon of calm and clarity in a world often consumed by noise and chaos. Each day, as we consciously embody these principles, we move closer to becoming the best version of ourselves, resilient, virtuous, and at peace with the world. The journey is not easy, and the path is often steep, but the rewards are immense. or in cultivating these habits, we do not just find peace of mind. We find a deeper connection with our true selves and with the world around us. As we continue on this journey, let us remember that the pursuit of peace is not a destination, but a way of life. It is a continuous process of growth, learning, and self-mastery. And as we walk this path together, let us support and encourage one another, knowing that in the end, the greatest reward is not just peace of mind, but the realization of our highest potential. Thank you for watching this video. If it inspired you or brought you something valuable, don't hesitate to hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming content. Every week, we dive into topics that nourish the mind and strengthen resilience. Share this video with your friends and family to help them discover these ideas and cultivate inner peace. Your support is essential in growing our community. Thank you for being a part of this journey towards a wiser and more fulfilling life. See you soon for more explorations.